everyone, welcome back to another exciting episode of Attack Productions. Today, back up once again by Austin and Trevor.
Hello. Hello.
In today's matchup is Austin versus Trevor. And we got Cooler Mill, which is Austin, haven't seen his deck in a while on the channel, versus Majin Buu, new set 20 yellow. And just want to point out, really cool metal leader you got going on there. TCG Metals, if I recall correctly.
Yes, sir.
Check out their site if you haven't already got your metal leader. But there's buttons, links. Let's get into the matchup.
Yeah, so I have been really wanting to bring back Cooler Mill because of the current meta, how it's, very battle card heavy and lots of decks are going wide. And it was really hard in like the last few sets to play Cooler Mill with the Unison Warriors block. But with this one, it's pretty easy. It's been really fun.
Yeah, you brought this a couple weeks ago during our Team Wars, which was kind of good to see that back in action. Now,
go ahead.
I know Majin Buu can be a stickler, and I don't want to say half. Maybe it's half. Half your cards won't really target the Majin Buu cards, so you have to kind of prioritize what you want in your hand to kind of snipe them out, which benefits you in this matchup, if I recall correctly, because Trevor, correct me wrong, even though they can't be KO'd, they have to be removed twice. Negging it, unfortunately, ignores that.
Yep. So, it's a little bit harder for Cooler to do it on my turn, since I gained so much power on my turn via their activate main effects. But I don't have it on his turn. So it definitely made for an interesting matchup, especially since my blue hate that even though this is a red deck, it's a blue deck. The way he plays it is not quite in yet. So it certainly made this matchup a lot different than I was planning on it being. So it was a great learning experience being able to play against this deck again.
Yeah, I love this deck so much. It's just so fun. You can either just swing hard and go crazy with a little more aggressive approach, or you can just sit back and play very, like you said, blue-like and just responsive. The one thing I still kind of struggle with is trying to find Z cards because I just don't care really for this deck for Z cards. There's not ones that I like. I have two of the Super Saiyan 4 Gokus in there. Then I have one Cell, and then I have one of the Super Saiyan Blue surmounting the Impossible Vegetas. And that's really about it. Like, there's nothing really. I feel like the Z cards that can give this deck anything.
There isn't a lot of, unfortunately, options when it comes to, I feel like, Z battle cards for your deck because you want to neg things out. And not a lot of, I don't think any of the Z battle cards actually currently have negging abilities.
Yeah, the only one I like was the Super Saiyan 4 Goku one if you want to be a little more aggressive. It helps you and I have some sand cards that I use, so it helps you be a little more aggressive and have some protection on your turn and some little threats. But yeah, really, there's not a lot. Like, I use the Cell to kind of like, if I know I don't have anything to wipe their field, I can use the Cell to scoop up their cards. But other than that, there's not a lot.
We got Trevor over here going into the start of the chain, which now has barrier. It has protection from being double KO'd. And Firecracker, you don't like that option normally. Discarding 2 cards for those effects.
Yeah, I didn't. But in this specific setup, where this one specifies a yellow Majin, I think the only 1+10k I had in my hand was the blue Majin at this point. So at worst, I can use this to, play them and get extra combo. Here, I'm trying to decide, because I know Cooler likes to neg out stuff for Mills. I was like, oh, you know what? I should probably combo this off too. And then he was like, yeah, sorry, bud. I'm like, it's cool. I understand. I already said this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things where normally I wouldn't mind, but I was getting ready to combo and I was like,
And he negs by 20, if I recall correctly. So, like...
10.
10,
okay.
Ignoring barrier. But it's 10 to 2 cards.
Yeah, and conveniently enough, because it is a 20k right now, if I recall correctly, it was safe from that neg or from the being removed entirely.
Correct. So on my turn, it's not that big of a deal, but if he does it on his turn or he does some crazy looping, moving cards in and out of battle area shenanigans, then it becomes a different story. But it definitely helps on my turn to have that extra 10k against a single cooler.
Now, I know normally, Austin's kind of explained that he likes playing during his opponent's turn. Like you typically save your energy, but in this type of situation, it feels like it's more beneficial to actually do stuff during your turn, so that way you can get that stuff out of the way. Did that thought process kind of cross your mind, or do you kind of stick to your guns for this match?
I just stick to my guns. The nice thing about Cooler is so flexible. Like you can kind of play how you want to play. You can go with the flow. And with this one, I just thought, you know what? I can minus his attacks. I can get his smaller stuff out. I can get rid of cards. It's not a big problem for me per se. And I didn't really care one way or another. I saw how much he was filtering and drawing cards, so my only thought process is mill. So
Trevor, do you want to go over the interaction of the Buu chaining again?
Yeah, so basically you play the Z battle card turn 2 so you can awaken. Then you play it. You can activate main on literally any of them. You discard at least one Majin card. The Z battle card special is yellow Majin. You gain their combo cost for the turn, and then you gain an additional effect. So the 2-drop Z battle card gains dual attack. The 4-drop gains dual attack. The 6-drop gains a token. 8-drop just at the, it doesn't have anything. But the rule, this, anytime you play this on your opponent's turn, it's a new card. So if you want to, you can block with it and ignore being KO'd once per turn with that block, which is what I'm doing here because I see he's spent a certain amount of energy and he typically likes to keep energy up on his opponent's turn. So I felt pretty safe blocking with it here.
I would say it's a mix one of those things where, like you mentioned earlier, you say your blue hay hasn't came in yet. He doesn't have a blue open energy, which you typically, okay, cool, I'm safe from Tsitsubin. But because this is a rival heavy deck, we can kind of see what's in Austin's hand to a degree. We know he plays the Beer Super combo, which does that for him. And there's Tsitsubin. Oh, man.
Yep.
The bean.
But, and all this, I'm just like, I mean, that's fine. You stood your energy and stuff. But it was an interesting turn, all things considered, because now I feel a lot more pressure here, since he has that cooler back in his hand from bouncing it back.
And Cooler's one of, I think, 3 cards that get past barrier.
Yes.
Yep.
I think there's the 2 coolers, and then it's is it the latest anniversary box? Chill, or is it another card?
Yeah. It's chilled, so there's only one cooler that gets around Barry. It's the arrival one. Then there's chilled. But in the sideboard I do have the Emperor's Death Beam again in case there's just one big, crazy monster like it has crazy card that has, 30k 1000 power. But also the secret rare, the Gohank secret rare is the one that ignores Barry on the field. So this, and then you also have the Goku right there to my energy that also ignores barrier minus 25,000. So
yeah,
there's all. Go ahead.
I'll say that's something you do during your turn though, so it's not something he has to worry about as much.
Yeah, but there's just a lot of cards that get around barrier. Like Cooler does not care about barrier. He never has.
So going into this matchup, I knew it was going to be. I'm on a timer, especially since I draw so many cards, and they're. I mean, you need to draw cards to see the pieces you need to win the game. So basically, I play out this card, this 3-drop that I changed on my list to add more consistency. And sideboard. Now I sideboard the 8-drop since it's only comes up in certain matchups at this point. But I can hit the 3-drop off of searches because every card for some reason says a yellow Majin 6 or less energy. So you can't hit your WinCon card and you can't hit that other 8-drop off searches. But this 3-drop you can hit. It also gives you an option to play it out for 1 if you place it in your drop area, and then you can get a 15k on board. Its activate main's a little different. You still do the same idea. You discard at least 1 card. It'll gain that power, but you can also KO an opponent's card in rest mode. So that's kind of how you can get some removal. I think in most matchups, this card is very mid. I would almost never actually play it for the 1 energy, because you're basically paying a 15k for 1 energy. You could get the combo power just to remove something if you really need to remove something, but honestly, I don't think it's really worth it. I regret playing it this turn because I'm like, well, I'm just going to combo it off anyway. I don't know why I played it, because I can't have cards sticking on board, because that's just more neg mill targets for my opponent. So
I had a quick question. Knowing you were on a timer, I saw that you did pitch the 8-drop 30k double strike that you could pay 1 energy to play.
Mm-hmm.
Between the negging and that unison, I feel like that could have been a good enough pressure, but I can't see your hand, so I don't know what your hand size is currently. I don't know like if you're at a point where you feel like discarding that was better for the 2 swings on the 4-drop or not.
I think I have another one in hand.
Okay.
Especially since I charged this blue boo here.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure I had another one in hand.
And you pitched a blue boo.
I think that, yeah.
Now, last week when you were on the channel against me, you had mentioned to me that you do play the Sibling Absorbed Secret Rare. Did you change that Secret Rare out for this match or for this week? Or are you, at this point, you're like, I don't see it. I can't even worry about that card at the moment.
Yeah, it was I haven't seen it yet. If I haven't seen it yet, I can't bank on drawing it. It could be in one of my 5 life, or it could be, at the very bottom of my deck. I just can't rely on it. So I would much rather rely on the opportunity to play my evolve, go for throat play instead.
And having Oceanus hit the board, you have 2 options where I feel like you can go for it. Especially the fact that Poutine allows you to tap that card down, which is nice.
Yeah. And basically, anytime this comes up, I look at my deck and I count my cards and I say, okay. And then I ask, how many cards do you have in hand? And then we can play this battle, or I can pass turn. But the issue is, if I pass turn, then I have to win the next turn.
Yeah. It's one of those things where if you can, for example, drop the 8-drop and immediately evolve into it. I can't remember. Is the blue one evolve into active mode, or does it have to evolve, or does it have to be in active already? I think it goes to active mode when it evolves.
You play it in active mode when you EX evolve.
So yeah,
discard 2 cards and you play it on top of it in active mode.
So I do agree with this approach. You need to hit at least some damage before going into that blue one, which has triple strike. Now, Cooler, is he a 1/1 or is he a restand 2 or draw 2? I can't remember.
He's a 1/1.
Hybrid.
He's hybrid. Yeah.
He's hybrid. Okay.
Sorry, it took me a second to realize what you meant. Honestly, personally, I wish he was an untapped 2, but they don't make untapped 2 leaders anymore.
And if they do, they're probably gonna be bad.
And just for clarification, you've put that face down just to signify that it's been negged.
Right. Yeah. That's just to help me with my counting of combo power if it comes up, because he played Cooler, which effectively -10'd the combo. So I just flipped it upside down for our own view and mathing arithmetic. In hindsight here, I talked to Austin after the match and I was like, you know what? I should have gone a lot harder on this swing.
Knowing, once again, we don't know what, I can't see your hand right now, but knowing that the evolve will immediately give you a 60k boost, or sorry, a 30k boost, going with more pressure probably would have been better. But now you're negged. I can't remember if I know Coolers for turn. I don't remember if that extra card's for turn or for battle. I feel like it's for battle. It's been a while.
It's
for battle.
Yeah. So right now you're only negative by 10. So if you were to evolve into the triple strike, it would be a 50k triple strike.
Yeah. And here, whenever I saw how much energy he had after that play and his extra 5k and cards in hand, I was like, well, you're at 4 life. So even if I played the triple striker, I'd mill 4 and then I'd probably lose. So I was like, well, we will just pass turn and see what happens.
Now, I think at this point you are getting very low. And
oh, yeah. We went into this turn, I had 8 cards in deck.
oh, man.
Yeah. The dream. But
so if I counted it out last turn, so if this 8-drop got a damage through, I would have enough to swing again and not mill myself out. But the issue was now I would have had to get 2 attacks through, and with 8 cards in my deck, I'd mill 4 and then I'd build 4 again. So at that point, I was like, I can't win this turn because I didn't get that 2 damage through with my yellow Boo.
So right here, after he negates, the top draw I get is my secret rare. And I'm like, I have 5 energy. Do I just go for the triple strike thing, or do I just go to mill him out? Because I have a way I can mill back cards in my hand. I didn't think I did. But I was looking at my stuff, and I'm here contemplating, like, okay, how can I get him? How can I get him down? How can I get him down? And I know he has, I think, he thinks 8 or 6. He has 6 cards. I was like, how can I get him down to 6? I know I can do at least, get him down to 4, but because, with the Janemba unison. But I was sitting here just like debating whether I just try to go for throat and like not try to make the mistake of sticking to mill so hard, because I could, double strike cooler, swing with it, and then go into the secret rare 5, -4, then 2 triple strike dual attacks,
I think with all this energy, having a blocker, I will say I know the result of this match, but I don't know the process and it goes into. I think passing with 5 open energy will be the biggest thing, and then Trevor has to go through the process of like, what do I do at this point? Because like you don't know what's in his hand. He's a full open board for anything he could possibly want to do,
And then here's the decision I end up, because I look at something that's in my hand, and I was like, oh, because I forgot the Frieza here does bounce back a card. And so I rival a cooler, I mill those that hit -3, so -10, mill 3. And then I'm looking here, I'm just thinking, and I'm like, I forget I had the Relentless Strike Frieza that also bounces back a card. So I sit here, play it, bounce the cooler back, tap 1, play cooler, mill those 2 out, and mill them out.
Sheesh. Yeah, and that's one of those things where where the game is more battle deck heavy. Yeah, that's just really strong.
Yeah, being able to mill 6 cards for 2 energy is ridiculous.
With that being said, thank you all for tuning in. Keep in mind those buttons down below, links in the description, check them out. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.